Well, the Blue Orb Goddess. I've been having trouble getting her transmission taped. So we're going to see what the Blue Orb Goddess has to say. You know what? I know what she has to say because I channeled this, and yeah, I don't know if I'm going to have to start putting a censor on the woman. I hate to do it, but good Lord. Okay, so at the end, she's good information. She's got good information. Her and I have a little bit of a history because of she had a problem with me moving slow, trying to channel her live one time. This is a longster. This is a trip, and it's a real weird trip when you have a little bit of a friction relationship with a spirit guide. Okay, but she's cool. She's good. She's just different, but she's very informative. And I'm never going to turn down a collective. I always, that wants to channel something unless it's real evil shit. And this is just her being weird. You know, if this was a dude talking like this, I probably wouldn't let it. If this was a male, you know what? Yeah, maybe that's not right of me. If this was a male, one of my male collective members, I might not let him talk like this. But, yeah, you'll see what I mean. Maybe I mean nothing. Maybe I was overreacting, but as I was fading out of trance from her when channeling this, I'm like, huh, okay. And then I started listening back to it, and I'm like, oh, God, I'm not going to censor it, but and then I listened to it a second time. It didn't sound too bad, but we'll see how it goes. When I say bad, I mean her information's solid, but I mean it's her innuendos she starts making towards the end of this thing. Okay, so of course we're gonna know. She'll ask her typical question. I liked the song when I was younger, but I got her in my head all the time asking me that shit when I'm channeling her, and that I do remember. But you know what? I'm not gonna censor that she asks it a million times about if you know how to say those two words. Yeah, I almost feel like telling her, yeah, well, as non-intelligent as we are, we know how to say in English, we know how to say, those of us who speak American, we know how to speak we know how to say de-groovy, and we know how to say de-light, so, oh, the Blue Orb Goddess, I need to get some more of the Pleiades girls on. At the end, she says, when she's saying goodbye, she says, this was your Rainbow Orb Goddess. No, she's not. I've never had the Rainbow Orb Goddess on yet. They know each other. I've channeled her twice personally only. That's it. I might try to... See, I've never myself initiated one of these contacts. I waited for Admiral Sheena to get a hold of me several times before. I've never waited. But the Rainbow Orb Goddess, I might make that first initiative to channel. And maybe this was it when she accidentally calls herself that at the end. But you'll see what I mean about almost wanting to put a censorship on the lady. We're going to hit her bumper music. I got to do it for taping reasons. And then we'll go with... we're going to go with the Blue Orb Goddess after her bumper music comes on, and we'll see what she has to say. Well, I know what she has to say, but I'm trying to get it up on this format, so here we go. With her bumper, she likes, because she'll ask you these words.
How do you say? De groovy?
Yeah,
How do you
attention.
say? De gorgeous?
Well, she won't ask that.
Ooh la 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 la. How do you say? Delight, delight, delight.
Oh, don't worry. After the bumper, she'll ask you a few times during this channel. You can bet with her.
We're going to dance and have some fun. Chills that you spill on my back keep me filled with satisfaction when we're done. Satisfaction of what's to come. I couldn't ask for another. No, I couldn't ask for another. Your groove, I do deeply dig. No walls, only the bridge. My supper dish, my crocketesh wish.
Sing it, baby.
I couldn't ask for another. love you too. Oh, yes, ooh. I couldn't ask for another. I couldn't ask for another. DJ Souls was on a roll. I've been told he can't be sold. He's not vicious or malicious, just lovely and delicious. I couldn't ask for another.
Something looks in this torso here. Heart got a deal you wanna know. Delightful, truly delightful. Like making it, doing it, especially at a show. Feeling kinda high like a Hendrix haze. Music makes motion moves like a maze. All inside of me, heart especially. No other rhythm where I wanna be. Come on, flowing, glowing with electric eyes. You dip to the dive, baby, you'll realize. Baby, you'll see the funk inside of me. Baby, you'll see that rhythm is the key. Get with it, can't think, quit it. Stomp on the street when I hear funk blue. Playing pop pipe, follow her to shoot, baby, just sing about the groove.
Okay. We're gonna get to her, and here she is coming up. Yeah, remember the question here, the pop quiz. If you know how to say those two words, believe me, she'll ask you a few times. Thankfully, she spares us at the beginning, though.
A message from the Blue Orb Goddess of the Pleiades. Dear sweet ones, dear sticky sweet
Yeah,
souls.
watch out for her talking.
Our dear earth ones, our dear sweet earth ones, I'm connecting with you today. I wish to address and honor the many light workers, the many of you that have relaxed, that have taken my advice, that I had given in weeks past. We love, bring, I lovingly, the rest of the Pleiade girls, I must admit, we lovingly admit to you, or prefer to you, as we should say, as the sweet ones are sweet, sticky ones, we love being a part of you. You've been doing so well. You have been working hard. You've been listening to messages and channels like this for what seems to be an eternity. We realize this, dear sweet ones. That journey has been long and challenging, yet most of you have witnessed many significant changes. You can't say that you haven't. We know you have come on. Now we know you've witnessed many changes, many more awakened, many more things come to fruition. The universe wasn't built in the day, dear ones. My dear sticky sweet souls. Lots of changes have taken place, transformations. These years you have lived through have been transformative. We feel it's necessary to give you your just due. At the point you're at in these moments, in these now moments, dear sweet ones, you have known how important it has been to stay on track, and you've done such a great job with that. The transformative work that you're doing, especially those of you that have been doing this since 2012 of your Earth calendar year. Even prior to that pivotal year, there are a lot of you that were what we call, or what you like to call, the OGs of this. Starseed Lightworker New Age type movement. You have been firm, and you have unwavered in your love for the light, and we have unwavered in our love for you. Throughout all of this time and space, throughout this journey, you have seen countless individuals fall away from the path, reverting back to old negative behaviors and thought patterns. These thought patterns that stunt your spiritual ability, these individuals never truly made the real lasting changes that are essential for profound transformation in the way of being. They've been in the way of themselves. You might say to your souls as you find yourselves in the present moment, many of those who once turned away from the truth, though, as you can see, are beginning to turn to the light and turn to you for questions, dear souls. By the way, have we asked you, do you know how to degroovy? Do you know how to say delight? I thought that you would. Anyway, dear souls, they have spent this time still playing in the dark, you might say, feeling disconnected from the light that they once knew, On the other hand, dear souls are sweet, sticky ones. There are those who are just now beginning to open up their eyes and to see the profound truths that they are experiencing. This awakening. With fresh perspectives and new insights, their journey is just beginning, and they bring with them a sense of wonder and curiosity, sweet souls. Your Blue Orb Goddess really loves you. It is vital to the collective awakening that you continue to relax and rest and still remember how to say, delight Andy Groovy, and delight dear ones. Our sweet ones in these critical moments ahead. Your purpose is going to remain steadfast and unique to your journey, whether you have been absorbing and/or transmuting these teachings for many years. You are just now starting to realize these words that you have been given are really starting to hit you for the first time, even though you've heard them many times with some of them. Dear souls, if that makes sense, are sweet, sticky ones. You are serving the light in ways that may not always be visible to you. Is what we're saying to your souls? You have been all the difference in the world. You see whether or not you see it or not, even though those who have strayed away from the spiritual work were still engaging in their spiritual journey or some level, whether they were consciously aware of it or not. However, likewise, those who have only recently awakened to these truths also serve a significant purpose. They are instrumental in ushering it in the new wave of awakening, you might say, and in your next few Earth years, you will have another significant shifting consciousness, another mass awakening, you might say, throughout the rest of this decade. Towards the end of this decade, perhaps even, this could even spill into the next decade. Dear souls, in fact, the inbox is never empty. It never quits. It never ends. You keep on progressing and you keep on moving forward, and we're so proud of you. You realize you are the gatekeepers of this new era. Those of you who hear the Blue Orb Goddess, right? And you will always remember how to say those two words. I love so much. To groovy and delight. Keep your hearts open. Keep that heart of yours open. Keep that candy store I talked about at yours open. Keep that candy store open, your souls. We want to be a part of you. We want to be in you. We want you to be in us as. We feel that energetic shift with you. Dear souls, you have worked so hard and we are so proud of you. I know the Pleiades girls are so proud of you on Earth. We wish we could reward you in such ways that you could not even imagine. Dear soul, we want that energetic transfer with you and blend together with you because we know you've worked so hard and you've deserved it. You are built on nothing but love, energy, compassion, and passion as well, which we like in the Pleiades. We like a lot of passion. We like a lot of love. And we understand the contributions that you have made. You're joining this work. You are part of a vital foundation. This was laid many years ago in your timeline. Your roles of light workers were established a long time ago, sweet ones. In this transformative time, it is up to you to anchor your light wherever you are across this beautiful globe called Mother Gaia, serving as an anchor, anchoring in higher frequencies. It is important. You are now experiencing your presence, and you and your dedication are gonna see you navigate this through dear souls. Now, our sweet, sticky ones, we want to talk to you about stepping into. Well, you've heard about this before, but you stepping into a galactic society. We have been reminding you to relax and rest. What do you think that actually means for you to join us, dear souls? To be able to meet with us actually one-on-one in a physical realm. Does that concept scare you? Dear souls, we think not. We cannot wait till it happens. This is a profound time in your understanding. Your actual consciousness, awareness, perception has, our host might say, sweet souls. Your place was in the cosmos, is being established, firmly established, very firmly established. And that's what we like, dear souls. We like it to be firmly established. This external exchange, you might say, for to become is vital that you also acknowledge. Your inner transformation, your inner and outer, are your most important thoughts to have. They're the only thoughts you can have, but you must have a balance. You must go in and out as a balance. You must transform yourself. You must take the place. And you must be ready, of course, for this tidal wave of newness and information that will be floating your way, flying your way. You may say, coming in and out of your way. Dear souls, it is crucial to recognize that your inner cleansing is unfolding in such a way that you can definitely feel that it's going on to your souls. To not feel it is to deny it. Oh, dear ones. And it feels so good, doesn't it? It feels so right. It just feels so, okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel so great?
Yes, if I could find
By
my
the
lighter,
way,
that would be all good.
You know how to say de groovy?
No.
And
Nope.
you know how to say delight.
Nope.
And we know what a delight you are, sweet souls. Your Blue Orb Goddess
Hey, this
is
is
always
weird. My
watching
lighter
out for
wasn't there,
you
then it was on my
and
chest.
always has your best interest. At heart, I love you so much
Of course,
and
yes.
can't wait to have nothing but pure energy exchanges with you and become one with you. At
What?
Oh, the Blue Orb Goddess loves the sound of that sweet souls. Rid of those habits that no longer serve you. Tell them bye-bye. Tell them to take a seat, you might say.
After this
This
last
allows
cigarette.
for the highest purpose, allowing for space for new elevator frequencies to enter your life. That's right, to become a permanent part of your life. Your own ascension process is going so good. We are so pleased you can't even expect. Begin to fathom how pleased we are with it. We just love you, our Earth family, and we can't wait to just wrap our arms around you and have that big energy exchange with you. Understand, Mother Guy. His ascension is now well into its later stages. She definitely has control of her celestial body as us Pleiades girls. Do you have control of your celestial body? Maybe we'll both find out together, whether you do or not, and we can show you what it's like. Moving towards a higher fourth dimensional state of vibration. Is the process? Of course in its process. That should feel good, dear souls, and we want it to feel good with you. We want to fill it with you. It's not just about Earth, or as it encompasses the intricate web of. It's not about that. It's not about the life that exists upon and under her completely, her surface. Everything is moving forward. A more positive alignment with your outer and your inner reality are starting to take hold. In fact, it is a necessary part of transformation, the destruction of the matrix. Those outdated systems, of course, when used for the wrong reasons, they have to go. They have to go as far as being used. For those reasons, dear ones, you will learn at another time. There are a yin and yang to most of these things, of course. No surprise. Of course, that's where you're at. is Yin and Yang land. We would like you to come home from Yin and Yang land so we could Yin and Yang with you. Dear souls, your Blue Orb Goddess loves that. It is essential for the clearing to occur. Lots of clearings to occur. And that's what we love being here to help you with. As you emerge into this new reality, you will start to feel it, see it, grasp it, and behold it. That love and compassion and unity have taken the place of fear, hate, and singularity. Now, those are it is true, we have been speaking of and channeling much love and wisdom to you for quite a while now, for quite an earth spell. We are watching you transform. We are watching you on the brink of wonderfulness. Oh, dear souls, your Blue Orb Goddess could not be any happier. Your advances, your transitioning, your understanding, your ability to rise past it, rise above it, and look at the river through the woods. You see it, don't you? It's gleaming, it's glimmering, it's sparkling, just like you shiny souls. This is a great opportunity for you to continue to harness your love and to continue to let your love show and flow, sweet ones. Embrace this. Embrace us as we embrace you, and we look forward to meeting you. We get so excited at the thought of it, and to blend with you. The first chance we get, we want to guide you. We want to show you what it's like to be guided personally into bonding as. With all beings have an interconnectedness like that, with all beings across this vast multiverse. Of the creational source flow of all that is, that could ever consciously go. Remember? Each nano moment, not just moment. Each nano moment is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for a complete transformation, leading you toward the alignment with the oneness of allness that ever could be. And with that being said, I am your Rainbow Orb Goddess from the Pleiades, channeled by Larry Locken.
Yeah, that's where the mistake came in. She is not the Rainbow Orb Goddess. That is that is Radiance. Vibrance is the Blue Flame Goddess. These girls are called the Pleiades girls. There's 10 of them. Okay. Let me explain to you who they are. Okay, I was channeling a couple of them, and then I found out one of them told me, was asking me before we went on air about the channel that I had with one of the other ones, and they knew each other. I'm like, okay, I figured most of them do, or most collectives, super collectives know each other, okay, from the cosmos. Cryon knows Larkma, Larkma knows Cryon, Cryon knows the blue avians, and so on and so forth, and they know my yellow avians that I channel. Okay, so I thought, okay, but they started telling me that they were part of a group. They're part of a group. I'm like, okay. And then they told me they all went to college together up there. And I'm like, okay. And so there's 10 of them. And I was told about all of them before I channeled about half of them. Okay, so, and I never went to any of them personally. They all came to me in a way that the way that it happens for me, okay? So you have, let's see, they weren't all students together. Two of them were like kind of the ladies that looked over the dorm, the dorm that they all lived in together, which their idea of a dorm, their little apartments were all inside a big dome area, and they were more like townhouses. Each one of them had their own, except for the two head, the head lady, which was the white light goddess. She called herself divinity. She's kind of like an real older soul. And then there's a kind of a younger one, and that is the Rainbow Orb Goddess. Okay, they are the two in charge. They have both have a place like it's kind of centered between the two. You have 6 townhouses kind of on one side, small ones, 2-bedroom ones, and then the same thing right across the walkway, because it's inside actually. And then between the two, at one end is one, and then at the other is the other. Like the white light goddess is at one end, and the Rainbow Orb Goddess. Now, they're all students, except for this lady here, the Rainbow Orb Goddess. She was a student there, She graduated. She's got some kind of a degree where she's going to go oversee do what the rainbow and the white light goddess do. She's going to oversee a place like that. Okay, so part of the deal with that is she has to spend a full time through with the class just starting out. Okay, and go through. So she lives with them the whole time that this goes on, and I'll explain to you how I know what time period this happened in if we were to put it in our terms in a second. Okay, there's them. Then you've got Admiral, a little bit older because she took a few years out to go train. She's now an Admiral. She's second in charge of the entire fleet of the Venusian-based Pleiadian allies. They have well, it's more like an Air Force. I don't know why they use naval ranks, but just like on Star Trek, they do. She's the Fleet Admiral. She's second in charge of the whole goddamn thing. Okay, so that's where she's at now. That's Admiral Ashina. I've channeled her. I've got a couple channelings from her. She's a little more mellower if you think this one's a little out there. Okay. Now, besides her, you've got the Blue Flame Goddess. Her name is Vibrance. Now, her deal is she's got her little sister there with her. They're if you were to put it into Earth terms, they told me they're a year apart. Okay, the reason why they're in the same grade, though, or whatever you want to call it, they entered it at the same time. I'll explain how their college works a little bit, too, according to them. Okay, so she took a year off and went and hung around with another girl that's with them there, the Yellow Flame Goddess, Saprase. I've channeled her a couple times. That's on air. Now, Pashana is the Violet Flame Goddess. That is the Blue Flame Goddess's little sister. All right. You got all them. Now we're going to go, I'll get to who the first one I met out of all these were in a second. Now we're going down. Let's see, I think I've got only a couple more to tell you about. There's Bluminous. Bluminous is a crystal blue looking Pleiadian. She's not the blue Pleiadians like you've seen. She's a crystal looking blue Pleiadian. I've got a couple channelings on the air from her. She's cool. She's all right. She is what the hell did they call her? This is what she does up there. You know, families aren't dysfunctional in all that shit up there in the Pleiades, so it's not like she has to deal with that. But what she is she's sort of she's a kind of a family practitioner slash like relationship advice giver. Not that they even need any of that really up there. Okay, and she helps with, the family kind of thing, advice on all that stuff, right? That's what she does. She's not a goddess, but she's got a minor in that. All right, same thing with, there is one more goddess. They have a Lyran fairy, or a Pleiadian, that's my group on Facebook, one of them is Pleiadian Lyran fairy kingdoms. She is the Pleiadian fairy elemental goddess, basically. She doesn't like being called a fairy godmother. She's like the fairy goddess. Okay, that's what. And keep in mind, they all went to school. They all went to school to do this. They weren't that yet when they were all in college together. Okay, so and her name is you think of the gateway on Terrace. Her name is Elantris. E-L and then A-N-T-R-E-S. She likes going by Elantra, though. She claimed in the channeling that one I did with it that her parents called her Elantris, and she likes going by Elantra. Okay, fine, whatever. All right, that's their thing. And then the other one left is the very first one I met ever, and that was, get this girl's got, this girl I channeled in a dream, and I've channeled the Pleiadians 500 times. I've only had a couple of dreams where I've ever channeled them. One was with Pashana, the purple violet flame goddess, but she was with some other people on there, and it was very vague. They were just purple, is what I remember looking at. She was kind of a purplish violet looking, but they were all real purple. With when I met the first girl, and I've channeled her 3 times, I think I've got of her, Fusacia. Now, Fusacia is, get this, I didn't find this out from her, apparently, Bluminous told me, or no, Lantris told me, she is a lawyer, and I'm like, what? Fusacia's a lawyer. I'm like, well, you need lawyers up there. And she's all, no, we don't have lawsuits and things like that, petty lawsuits, but we do have, like you Earth humans have. I'm like, okay, well, it's not my choice, we do. But she's all, well, she's a lawyer, like, for the, like how the High Council and the Pleiadian Council of 9 and the Pleiadian Council of Light and the Elders, they still have negotiations that they have with other star systems and shit like that for passageways and different negotiating treaties and stuff like that. It's not political like the bullshit here, but you know, they have that kind of stuff, sort of. So, so that's what Fusacia does, is she looks over that shit, and that's what she went to school up there for. She's got a minor in the goddessness too, but they don't have that PhD in it. You have to have a PhD up there to be a goddess. Now, you know, that doesn't mean you go to school and take a bunch of bullshit math classes you can't figure out because you have a learning disability. You're not taking trigonometry 8,000 times. Okay, no, it's based on, and even everything you do up there. Their form of Reiki, their form of telekinesis that they do, because they have Reiki that we wouldn't understand here. Telekinesis too. You get a degree in that kind of stuff, okay? And it's based on your ability to do that pretty much solely. They're born, this minutia we have down here with the scholastics and shit, right? They're born pretty much already knowing that stuff. Might as well go into how Fusacia found out about Earth human beings. Well, her and Bluminous are the technical geeks of the group, I guess. Fusacia was telling me and explaining to me telepathically, and I didn't even know her name. She was the one who offered her name to me, like after talking to her twice. I don't want to know their names usually, just where they're from and what's their deal. Okay? I don't ask them. I ask them the collective and, you know, the basic shit, but I don't go into getting a specific name out of them unless they give me one, and most of them do. Fusacia, when she was a little girl, they're taught through meditation and deep stuff like that to, well, travel the galaxy. And her thing was she wanted to know about other human races out there, like her human races, except for hers is pink. Go figure. I was there in a dream. I saw it. It was trippy. Anyway, not really, but it was just different. Actually, it wasn't that fucking weird, really. It was just different because she was a blonde-haired girl talking to me telepathically, and she was pink, and you know, her face was a pretty pink. That's about all I can say about that. But they're trained to do that meditation wise, and she's wired together gadgets where she's picked up radio signals that we've shot out into space years and years ago, and she's followed other human races, and she ran across ours, and ours creeped her out a little bit because we were kind of violent, and I said, well, and that how we were treated down here, and it weirded her out, but she's always paid attention to us. The way I have an idea of about what time the Earth frame was that they were in when they went to school together. It's about the equivalent for a PhD. Now, for a PhD, to get a PhD, which is, of course, the highest degree you can get, you know that, they go about the equivalent of 3 to 4 Earth years. They could go, you know, of course they could learn it a lot quicker, but the thing is they go for the experience. So they were all there 4 years together, okay? And it really was, you know, basically a lot of it was the bonding with each other. But Fusacia, or who was telling me, it was an impromptu completely. The Pashana, the Violet Flame Goddess, was talking to me about a disco bumper music that I'd had one time. And she said, that sounds like that music that Bluminous and Fusacia tuned in. I guess that they would sit there when they were hanging out in the dorms at night, you know, sitting out in the common area together, and they would listen to whatever Fusacia could dig up, and they thought it was, you know, her and Bluminous were kind of half obsessed with the Earth, and I said, well, I can't imagine why. That sounds kind of weird and creepy, because I would imagine how boring it would be to watch us. But anyway, they were tuning in. She said, that sounds like some of the stations she tuned in out of your cities, like, she mentioned Moscow, Munich, Berlin, London, New York, Los Angeles, Seattle, Denmark, Copenhagen, Helsinki, Oslo, and Stockholm, and a couple other places around the planet that they had picked up, like kind of a disco-y beat kind of a music, and basically the whole time they were there. So I got the impression it was probably in the late 70s as far as our time goes, if we're putting it in our time frame, but they don't really exist in our time frame exactly. It's really, there's nobody below their 5th dimension that exists in our time frame right now. They have some 4D planets, but they're not operable in their 3D, 4D. I don't really even know if they're ascended. I think they're ascended past that actually now. I know that they just got a 12th dimension because I channel a collective out of there. So like everybody else is ascending, they're mainly flipped from a 5th to 11th to a 6th to a 12th. Yes, they do have a 5th dimension. They definitely do, but they're transitioning through that too as well. And in our timeline that we're in right now, in our timeline now connects, they do not have anything under 5D. So Fusacia would that's what her deal is. And they all have their own different quirky personalities. I mean, you could take them all, like, and I wouldn't know who I was listening to, but if you gave me about 5 minutes of hearing them talk, I could probably, even using the same voice, AI voice, which that isn't an AI voice, by the way, but you could take the same kind of an AI voice. Well, yeah, it is in a way, because I slowed it down about a notch or two, so I guess it's altered. It's not an AI, though. It's a real person. But, so that was their thing. And they all have their careers now, what they do, and I guess they meet a couple times a year, and, that's that, or the 8 girls do anyway. The other two, they do their own thing. They're not, part of that per se, but I put them in that group because I want to channel the rainbow one. She's a little bit younger. The white light one, I don't think I'll ever channel her. Or I might. I've channeled her once personally, but it was just she's kind of more too divine to really even talk with. She just give you a couple pieces of advice. It'd be a kind of a boring channel, to be honest, and I wouldn't bother anybody with it. So, but the rest of them, yeah, I have at least once. And I don't pick when they come to me, so, there's one at Launtress it was hit and miss a couple times and I couldn't, but I have her on one. So the Blue Orb Goddess just has, she's got her own thing. And yes, have they had big feuds with each other? Well, they don't fight up there really, and the people don't backstab each other. But they had snippets with each other when they were in school and living in that same common area together. Of course they have. But they don't talk bad about each other behind each other's backs. They just little, dirty looks at each other because they were irritated with each other. Maybe the Blue Orb Goddess was being a little bossy because she was, kind of a go-between the two head ladies of the house and the students. So, and then just different attitudes she'd show, different ones. Ashina, of course, was her friend because Ashina, they and her were about the same age, and and Ashina's a bad woman as far as like, she knows she's like the equivalent to a 20th degree black belt because of what she does with the military. She's the only one that wasn't born. Another thing about her, she was the only one that wasn't born in the star cluster. Okay, she's part of the Venusian-based alliance that is, well, I say they're allies and relatives to they're Pleiadians that have been on, Venus forever and a day, and that's basically what the higher dimensional Venus is, and that's all that they are because they're 3rd D. The Pleiadians made sure that they ascended there to 5D at the time when they were nuked. They had pyramids and all that shit too, and stuff like that. They had their own Sphinx, just like Mars, just like here. They were nuked as well. They were able to get everybody out of there and off there, though, mostly into 5D Venus. All right, that's one of the Pleiadians were one of the ones that first mastered that here. Well, they learned it from Lyra and another race I'm not going to go into right now. They learned it from how to kind of hide out in the 5th dimension when they needed to, above, like, the reptilian races and shit. Okay, and they even talk about that. I would recommend, one thing I would recommend, there was shit talked about on there that only I knew that I thought only I knew for the most part, except for a few people I was never going to talk about till the time was ready. And this thing was built, it looks like a trailer, or it looks like somebody took, instead of a trailer to a movie, it looks like somebody went ahead and made a movie to a trailer, is what this looks like. But it's the most dead-on Pleiadian, how it really is up there that I've ever heard anyway, from what I know. Okay, it's called, and I'm not sure who it's by, who does it right now. It's Astral Travel Pleiadians, the Pleiadians. It's a series. These people do a series about other stuff. I don't know about any of their other shit. Haven't watched it, don't know, frankly, don't really care. I've seen a couple of things I was going to watch by then. They were talking about the Arcturians in one, but the Arcturians are the top, we all know that they're the first race here in the cosmos. I mean, as far as who's here now, they weren't the first. I mean, there was a collective that, seeded them, and then quickly after that, Lyra and at the same time breaking away. That's why I think the Andromedans and the Arcturians are more alike than people want to think. Yeah, they're both blue. I get that. It's not just that, though. See, when the Arcturians were being seeded here, that collective broke away real quick. Some of them did and went to Andromeda. So it's a whole nother ball game. But that other one talks about those that came to, you know, from the Mansi system and the Vega, the one from Vega, and the couple families from Lyra that came and colonized the Pleiades. They weren't the first ones, though. This other race had a long time back before that, too. There was other Pleiadians there. They were destroyed in a nuclear war. So by the time the Mansi crew got there, like the movie talks about, they didn't tell you about that part about it, that there was other life there before. But by the time that Mansi crew got there, I mean, you're talking there were like 10 planets left. 3 were only inhabitable. 10 were possibly being... Another 7 of them, actually, I don't know if they mentioned it there, another 7 of them were able to be eventually terraformed back again and have that shit reversed. Okay, so, and then they wonder, the Pleiadians sometimes wonder why we're so obsessed with their stuff. Now, the Pleiadians that are there now, they were the ones that were here a million years ago during Atlantis and all that shit, of course. They were the ones. They weren't the ones that were here a billion years ago, though, that some of our hieroglyphs still give, you know, to have the star system mapped out there. So a lot of Pleiadians even don't realize that that's okay. Well, they're so obsessed because it wasn't just a couple times we were there. It had been before that they were there. So, you know, this is just information I've gotten. I've been on a 14-year mission trying to figure this out. I figured out really quick right away the Arcturians were the first year. But I was under the assumption, too, that they probably seeded the Lyrans. That wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. The Lyrans did seed the Pleiadians, and I knew that, but it wasn't the Arcturians that seeded the Lyrans, because the Lyrans were seeded by the same people that seeded the Arcturians. It's just the Arcturians were first, and we can argue about the semantics of whether or not, you know, a lot of people will say that Lyra was the first human race in the galaxy, and that's fine. Hey, I'm good with that. I'll go with that. They're the first human race that looks more like us than the Arcturians do. Okay, but they were in this galaxy alone. No, they were second, but it wasn't that far off. You might as well say, you know, it was pretty much around the same era. Okay, and Vega too. Vega at the same time. Kinda. That's a little. If I get into that, I'm going to open up a Pandora's box, because Vega is about the same time, but the Arcturian DNA has something a little bit more to do with Vega than it does Lyra. And yet Lyra, yeah, it's like they share a common ancestor. Lyra and Vega do, and then they also share the other one that they don't exactly share. Well, that other one is pretty goddamn close to each other. So it's just that there's a different, the cat-like, feline-like beings that come from there, and the humans that come from Vega are darker skinned. In fact, there was a problem there too. Lyra, and if you can imagine Lyra ever being the aggressor on anything, right? Well, they had their own racial problems. Lyra was a white race that really, a lot of Lyrans, not the animals, not the cat humans, but a lot of the humans that were there, they didn't care for the other side. Of course, why didn't they care for Vega? Because they were dark. But this was 2 billion years ago. And this is way before the Lyran, Orion, Vega, you know, was in on it too. The war started long before. Okay, they took care of that shit right away. Arcturians helped them, you know, they didn't need to help Vega. It was really Lyra's issue. Okay, so, and it's a sun thing that has to do why they're different colors, and a little bit about their heritage, but not much. It's kind of how they're both located. So I hope some of that came through. I am having a little bit of microphone problems with one of my gadgets, but that's about all I know. You know what I mean? And you'd have a hell of a time convincing me different. Would I believe different? Sure. If I was showing some proof or straightened out, yeah, well, of course I would. But this is just from what I know, okay? You know, from what I've studied and put together and heard from my guides and begged my guides to try to find out for me answers. They don't know a lot. There's not a whole hell of a lot more than, like, enlightened people like you and me, people that are listening to this, that know about this shit. There's not They're thousands of years ahead of us. Like you take the Pleiadians now, for instance, they're thousands of years ahead of us. Oh, they got us fucking beat with anything 5 ways to Sunday and back again and forth. But they don't know a whole hell of a lot more about this. And really, they don't need to, because I'm going to preface this by saying we know that we're all one with God. We're all one with the creation and the divine creator of all that is, right? Or like I call it, the consciousness source flow of all that is, or the source flow of all that is that consciously goes. We know that we're all, when we wake to full consciousness, right? We're all that one creator body. When our consciousness is 3 million or 3 trillion times bigger than it is now. We know that. But what the Arcturians, or the Pleiadians, excuse me, don't know much more than us about is the in-between, the minutiae of it, the history, right? The galactic history, who came from where. That's now we're starting to dig in, and other people too. We're starting to find out who seeded all of us here, right? And we're going to find out from what galaxy they were from. But then shit, that's nothing. That's just yesterday. Who the hell put them there, right? How'd they get there, and how'd they get there, and how'd they get there? And then you go all the way back to creation, which is probably, there is no number because there is no such thing as time, but let's just say that there was. Let's pretend for a minute. It's way, 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 way fucking past. I don't even, you get into quintillions, billion, trillion, quintillion, quadrillion, or quadrillion, quintillion, sextillion. It's probably way over the 10 mark, whatever the hell that would be, and then a lot, endless. It happened so long ago, you could never say out the number digit by digit in a lifetime. Couldn't happen. Yet it happened so quick ago that it's less than a split of a hair of a nanosecond ago it all started. So, I mean, you tell me, with those kind of figures, how can one even try to portray that time exists in a linear way like we know it? Oh, sure, do they mark it? Sure. They use shit like quadrants and shit like that to do that just for historical purposes and the record keepers and shit like that. Of course they do, but they're not sitting there tripping on a clock second by second once you get out of the fourth dimension. And even in the fourth dimension, they're not. They're more now moment type people, but they have to watch it too still. So yeah, you get out of clock tripping. Once you get out of the fourth dimension, you get out of clock tripping. Then you graduate from clock tripping, which is hopefully we get to do soon, right? That every 5 minute hitting the snooze on the alarm clock, right? Yeah, they don't really do that shit. Not so much in the fourth either, but it's still available to do there if you had a habit or wanting to do so. Yeah, so that's about what it is that I know. And sometimes somebody will say something, it'll spark a thought in me, and it'll, hey, I'll tie this together. That's what we're all here for, right? The only thing I wouldn't, really, I'd be kind of roll my eyes at if somebody said they absolutely knew for a fact, and unless it completely resonated with me, they'd better be willing to tell me how in the fuck they know it. And it would all depend on the attitude about how it was told to me too. If they said, yeah, I don't know, man, I just know it, it came to me, and I'd say, and I'd really take that, even if I wasn't sure about it, I'd really take that as some serious food for thought. But to be told straight up, hey, I wouldn't even accept that from all the aliens I talked to. I'm serious. I mean, just because, if they told me just because or whatever, no. I mean, how and why and who, and tie the dot together for me, or explain that you're not sure, but this is what you've heard and how you heard, and this is all you know. Well, good, then we can work together with each other and we can figure it out together. But to tell me some bullshit, no, I don't think so. Just like I wouldn't want you to believe a fucking thing I said either without doing your own diligence and figuring it out. And I wouldn't want you to not believe it just because it's me, you don't like my personality or something like that. But, yeah, of course that would be really stupid. I wouldn't do that because of somebody's personality, but their attitude could put me off about it. But that's okay, there's people out there that do put me off, that I would almost take everything they said for the gospel. My brother, who I used to channel, him and I for 2 years spent, and he's huge, man. He's fucking a household name on the internet as far as this stuff goes. All is J777. Him and I spent 2 years channeling the same shit all the time together. You know what I mean? Every week. He was on the internet a couple years before I was, and so what happened is I'd get a channeling. This went on about 10 times over 2 years. you know, in, no, I don't know, about 5 different shows he had, 2 different posts or things, especially the Atlantis Lemuria thing. I get it. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, he must have been getting the same download at the same time because he'd come right on and post about it. You know what I mean? But I think he's personally as a, you know, I'd be that cousin that showed up with a leather jacket on and a cigarette in my mouth. You know, that American cousin, and he's Swiss and don't. You know, and he's right about shit. He's right about the alcohol and the drug thing, and it's bad for you and all that shit. And he's right, man. I can't argue with anything the man says. The man's channel is just about dead on, spot on, man. Can't argue with him. But you know, I'm just saying there's a difference, and I don't care for his personality, but that's okay. We get along fine. I've talked to him a couple times. He's okay. He's okay. Okay, another one I'll give you, and I don't know any of his other work, but I know I've talked to him a couple times. He's a hell of a nice guy, Matt Kahn. Great dude. Great dude. I think college kids, high school kids should have to listen to him. All right, but before, right before I had gotten online, he came out with this thing called the Pleiadian prophecy. Man, it wasn't a week before. I had got the same fucking thing word for word. He almost talked it out the way that it came in my mind. I got the same thing word for word, and they told me this is something like, this is the Pleiadian prophet, is what I'd heard in my head. That's the only difference. He called his the Pleiadian prophecy. Same thing. And I talked to him once. I said, hey, man, what are you trying to do? You're famous. You're trying to steal my shit, man. Did you come in and rob my mind at night? But no, of course no, he hadn't. He got the same download. Yeah. I mean, it happens all the time now with everybody. Same thing, man. And you'll hear one word and it's spurned. It'll fix your channeling right up. Boom. One word, one phrase. Maybe, and it could be vice versa too. So we're all tuned into basically the same radio station. That's how it goes, man. You know, Pleiadian channelers are wonderful. I've never heard a shitty one. Yes, I have. That's not true. I've heard 2 I didn't like that I didn't resonate with. One, she's not a problem now. She's great. She's one of the best ones going, or was. I'm not sure if she's still writing. She did a book. She turned out to be great. Her name was Christine Day. I was like, lady, when she first came out, she wasn't like any other Pleiadian channel. I'm like, lady, you're not even vibing. You're saying shit that Ryan would even shake his head at. And I ain't saying anything, everything he says is right either. But I'm like, what the hell? But I didn't get a bad vibe. I got the impression she was trying and wanted to know. And man, she took off like hotcakes, and she's great. Only one I wouldn't listen to a fucking word she had to say, to be honest. And it's really bizarre because to most people over probably 55 that have been in this game for more than, I don't know, at least 20 years, 15, even 10, hell, I mean, 14 for me, and I'm only 49 Earth years. I mean, but I knew who she was. Barbara Marciniak, it's the only one I wouldn't listen to. Only one I wouldn't even give the time of day to, for a lot of reasons. You know, one of them has nothing to do with the fact that I read that book 23 times from start to finish, and I've listened to her do the audio on it 222 times. It's been years, but yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. And I'm not going to go into what I picked up on, but you'd have to, if you only listened to it and heard it a few times, shit, man, that Bible sounds like the Pleiadian, or that book sounds like the Pleiadian Bible. Fuck, really, real talk. Real talk, I'm sure of it. If you've only heard it a few times and listened to it, it's going to read just like that. If you say otherwise, okay, I might agree with you, but not the majority of people wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't. It took me that long. And I wasn't looking to go in on her like that, and I loved her to death. And then it's how she's acted afterward and stuff. So it's funny, she's the only one. Anybody else, people I've heard do it one time even, that were sincere about the Pleiades? Oh, there's better articulators, of course. It's not the articulation thing is separate. But as far as Pleiadian channel goes, and there's some young ones out there that are good at it, you know, and sometimes I take time to recognize them. I don't want to butcher their names right now because I don't have it in, I've got my notes, and I've mentioned it online a lot before when I see somebody who's good at it. JJ Activation, she's brilliant. I mean, I couldn't put 1 + 1 together compared to her trigonometry when she talks about this kind of stuff. She's wonderful when she does her Pleiadian stuff. There's a young lady who does Lyran stuff, and I think she goes by the name of Witch Hazel or something like that. She's fucking dynamite. Okay, what I'm not a great channeler. I'm not that great of a. I'm an okay host when I'm interviewing somebody. I'm not that good at it. What I'm really good at is knowing talent and knowing it right away. And that's only because I've been around this shit for years and years. It's no special talent I have, okay? It's just like with talk show hosts. I can pick out a good person on the radio. I'm great at picking out talent. Why? Because I spent, well, when I was a kid growing up from about 1979 at 4 years old all the way till, I don't know, I had my awakening really start with this shit, and I was just listening to channelings about 2010. Every fucking night, talk radio, whether it was Art Bell or whether it was politics, okay? So I know the ins and outs and the nuances and how to draw a crowd in. I don't, I can't personally do it, but I know when I see somebody that can, I know it. You know what I mean? So that's why some people are good coaches and good scouts and they're not good at the thing, right? Some people are good professors and they're not good at practicing it. That's me. Why do I do this then? Because I like doing it and I don't give a shit. Well, my ego goes about this far. One person. If I see that one person has heard it, hey, I'm good. The thing is, the only place my ego would go to is if nobody did, like for Twitch, there was some glitch I had going on Twitch. I couldn't figure out why I didn't have one follower, one nothing. Not one. Now, one, I wouldn't even think nothing of it. Yeah, I'm not that great. But, going for all this time, and as long as I've been in the game, I would have thought, geez, one person didn't take pity on me. No, not like that, but I would think it was odd. Yeah, if there was nobody at all, I'd think it was odd. Yeah, I don't expect any more than one, but yeah, if there isn't one, I would think, yeah, there's something glitched out because somebody would at least be wanting to listen to me to mock me or something, I would think. Yeah, but anyway, that's about it, and it's it, and that's that, and hey, yeah, well, I'll holler at you in a minute. When I say a minute, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll talk about some issues tonight going on. Oh, the sun. The fucking sun, somebody mentioned, it's not even worth me going into a big talk about, but because their channeling was, okay, but it wasn't total Palladian. And they were talking about the sun, and the sun, yes, the sun I mentioned the other night has humans on them. Most suns have human life. The sun, it's funny, the one good thing she said about the whole, and it wasn't bad, God love her and bless her, but she was telling people things that they already knew worse than I did, and I'm like, man, boy, somebody beat me at that. The sun being a big heart, and these solar flares could, the sun could project their flares at us like a heart. You'll have to listen to it. It's on the Galactic Federation of Light, but everybody in there was bagging on her for, a lot of people were for the AI voice sucking and all that. And I didn't think it sucked. I think it was a good voice. It's just that, I've heard people be told what they already know because I am all the goddamn time. For as unarticulate as I am, there's nothing I know everything I ever hear. It's just that everybody has a better way of articulating than me, and I enjoy it and appreciate that. But they're not telling me anything I haven't already long since fucking figured out. Unless it was something really exact about these people that came here to see the galaxy, and I'm the one that first put that out there, by the way, actually, about that and who they were, though, and now it's starting to come out, but I'm not saying anybody else listen to me because they don't, but other people were all tuned into the same radio frequency, right? So, yeah, but yeah, I don't think I'm nobody. I think I'm really, there's two things that I'm really goddamn good at. I'm great at run-on sentences, if you know who I am, as far as when I'm on Facebook or somewhere. I'm a master at those, people, seriously. And I'm good at judging talent. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean they're going to go anywhere. It means, say, hey, when I'm seeing that at that moment right there, the right influence, the right break, yeah, they're going to be big. It's not even a question if they had those two things. But, you could say that about a lot of shit. But, yeah, it's it, that's that. I don't even know if any of this picked up on audio, but I can't see right now. My glasses were supposed to be in, my new ones day before yesterday. They're still not in. Yeah, man, that's what you get for going with some real anal top of the line place. Yeah, not Walmart or somewhere. But anyway, so I can barely see my gadgets right now. All right, everybody. I love you guys so much. I love everybody out there, and yeah, hey, that's how it is, I guess. All right, peace out, people. Let me see if I can read some comments real quick, like I could earlier. I know somebody was talking about deception with the Blue Orb Goddess idea. No, she's not that. Yeah, I don't cooperate with him, homie. Though the thing is, right? Like I argue with him too, and shit like that. Oh, well, she said it, so I must believe it, dude. Use your own discernment. I mean, I know she's not unknown. Believe me, I know her. I know her all too well now. Okay, it's just you can still have family members up there that are in collectives that you argue with. I've been channeling the orbs for 14 years, and no, I've really never had argued with them. We talk a little smack with each other now and then, but other than that, no. So it is what it is. But now the one thing I will hear you on is this: I wouldn't cooperate with anybody, and this might be my shortcoming. If you tried telling me you were from Draco or some bullshit, unless you said you defected, you were some of those that defected years and years ago to the light, like the Blues did. We have a group of in the Pleiades that look like the Greys, but they're called the Blues. Well, not really. They don't look quite as ugly. They've kind of evolved. I don't know if you use the word ugly, but their heads are more of a baldish blue. They almost look like light blue cartoon characters when you see them in real life. They're kind of hilarious, but yeah, they're there. So unless you tell me you defect from there, but if you say you're from there right now, I'm not. And even to be honest with you, Orion too. Even though I know Orion and that even really wasn't their fault initially, they were infiltrated by Draco. Okay, so, but yeah, man, no, don't worry, I'm not gonna. I'll only be deceived if they tell me they're from the Pleiades. Okay, how about we make that? They're gonna have to, yeah, if they tell me they're from Draco, I don't think so. It'd be a good way to get a good one that it was ordered to channel for me not to just lie to me and tell me they're from Draco. Yeah, or something. But yeah, she is who she is. She is. She's probably the only guide I've ever heard of, and I happen to be the one that had the run in of it in a live. Now I was channeling her live then with my own words, right? And it's out there. It's out there. I had her and the Blue Flame Goddess on a show together. Funny thing is, the night before this orb shit hit on the news, and I don't watch the news, but it was like that night before any of it came out. And she was a little uptight, Nancy, and so was they. A lot of couple collectives were because there was some shit they were wanting to tell me. They had to wait. They didn't know. And it was weird. I don't usually get that kind of shit, nor would I normally put it out if I did. And it was really bizarre. And these were solid collectives I've been channeling for years and years and years and years and years. The Blue Orb Goddess about a year now, or, give or take. And so the rest of the Pleiade girls, they're just. Pleiadians are very sarcastic and fun loving. And if you don't know their energy, or you're not like that yourself, they can put a person off, really. Honestly, depending on what faction. There's several different factions within Pleiades, different families. Four main ones this time around that settled. Now three. The fourth one, that other fourth entity that helped settle them is not in our galaxy anymore. The golden ones, the shiny ones, I don't like calling them that because other people call them that now too, and that's not who they're referring to. Keepers of, the only people that I know of that really have talked about them, and I knew that's who they were talking about, was the light workers, and it's a YouTube channel, not a. These are. It was the way they were talking about them. I knew that's who it was. Fuck were they? The golden ones, the keepers of time. Not the golden shiny. These shiny ones, they're good too, but they're usually talking about the beings from Procyon and shit, and Sirius, a faction of that crew. They're cool too, but they're not. That's not who I'm talking about. These ones look like, if you can kind of imagine a golden body, right, and their face so golden you could hardly see it, but you could make it out, and their heads. All I remember is their heads were a trip, because their heads were like a square that was kind of tweaked to the side, pointing upward one way. Yeah, they were good, really loving people, but their heads were trippy looking, some of them. Yeah, I mean. But anyway, past lifetimes. Yeah, I've got, the thing is too, I've got, this is what I've been dragging my feet on now, God, going on almost a year. I've got 20 pages of shit that I went in. I don't go into trance much to do this stuff, except the quick trance I go into when I'm doing the channeling, like with the Orb Goddess and stuff. But I'm talking about a trance for hours where shit doesn't even, you get out of it and it seemed like it was 5 or 10 minutes. Well, I did that with writing about my experience in Lyra and that war, and my experiences with that, and Atlantis and Lemuria after that. Mostly it's about Lyra, though, and how our planet was destroyed and the 20 planets destroyed. And I've got 20 pages worth of shit, and I don't even know where to start with it. I will at the beginning, obviously, but it's when I like to get shit done in one time. With something like that, there's no fucking way. YouTube will only let you be on for 4 straight hours. I mean, as far as I go, and it'll throw you off. Or I don't know, it always has. I think it's something, or a little after 4 hours. I've only went out over 4 hours twice ever. Once was actually, shit, once was within the last several months, and the other time was 2013. So there's a span. And I've only been over 3 a couple times, no, more than that, a ton of times, because I used to do radio for Greg Prescott at In5D, so, yeah. Unless it was just going to be a slow interview, where it'd be at least 2 hours, but typically they were 3. Yeah, so anyway, and they were the Mecca, man. If you were a Starseed, if you were around 10 years ago in this movement and you didn't know who N5D was, you weren't a Starseed. I mean, that would be the one litmus test. Nah, you weren't. Or you didn't know what you were yet. You would be lying if you said you were. No, you've heard of N5D? Oh, no, no, no. Oh, okay, sure. All right. And you're on social media, though. And you've never heard of N5D. Oh, no, no, no. Not that there was a lot of it then. I mean, it was fucking Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. That was it. Pretty much. I mean, and Twitter was just back then getting into its infancy, and it was basically just known to us as some, I mean, we used it, of course, I don't even know if you could video audio on there. I know you sure as hell couldn't on Facebook yet. That took a while before they had live. Couldn't do it. I'm not sure if Twitter did. They may have at the time. I'm not sure. But all we looked at Twitter as back then was it kind of had a stereotype for being some shit where people traded one-liners back and forth. And I guess that's kind of what it was, a quote, a tweet back and forth. And I was imagining all these middle-aged guys all excited now that they could be on the internet and, do some shit like that, trade trash talk back and forth or whatever, something to occupy the time away. But it made it simpler, go from YouTube and, post your shit to Twitter, there you go, and then, the 20,000 places on Facebook to do it too. You didn't have Twitter and Twitch and Tweak and, Twirl and Twist and Snapchat, you chat, he chat, we chat, she chat, we all chat, we didn't have that. We didn't have Instagram, Telegram, tell a lie, tell a friend, television, go tell another gram, go buy me a gram, I mean, we didn't have all that shit. And many, many beautiful other ones, TikTok, Bip Bop, Hip Hop, Hanson, and Bop. We didn't have any of that. But you got to have it, I mean, if you're trying to do what I do and have have myself my fake brand in my own imagination, you got, or these other people that are doing it for the real. Hey, you got to have it all. I mean, really, you can't. If you're not gonna go big, you're gonna be into numerology. If you're gonna be into astrology, you're going to talk about astral travel, whatever it is in this realm, this new age realm that we're all in, this community you do, and you're going to go big. I mean, dude, fuck, go home if you're not going to go big. If you're going to want to, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to want to build a brand, if you are saying, okay, I want to build a brand, or, want to add, provide my services to people and stuff like that, or what, like if you're into, you're doing readings, right? You're, a card reader, a palm reader, or just a face reader, you're not you're not going to want to be completely business stupid. You're going to want to keep all your options open. Oh, I don't like this one. No, I get a bad vibe from Lemonade or Threads or Treads or Dreads. Threads, I don't have any street cred, or blue sky, black sky, purple sky, excuse me while I kiss the sky, you have to have all that shit though. And here I talk, the ones I don't have, let's see, I don't have one called, oh, I have an activated my LinkedIn in a while, but I have one. I have Spotify. I have Scoop Sucks. Can't really do anything on there. I don't have SunCloud anymore. I had it years ago, and I don't have one called this. I don't know what the hell it's called, Kiko, or I don't know if I could do anything on that. Really, so the only one I don't have SunCloud. I don't know if there'd be be. I like SunCloud. I don't know if there'd be a reason for me to even have it for what I do, but I mean, just to say I have it, I'll have it eventually. But anyway, and we could sit and talk about. I've talked about this before, but people, honestly, if anybody wanted to do me one favor in life, I'd like to get some people to talk about these social media webs or these platforms. What do you like? I mean, I want to talk to people that use this shit like you guys do, right? I mean, I don't get to go on and enjoy it. I could if I wanted. I'm not singing the blues, but I mean, I don't go on there to socialize with people and just check stuff out, right? And from folks that that do that kind of thing, just kind of go see what's going on out there. What do you like? Do you like Blue Sky? Do you like Threads? Okay, let's put those two together. They're a lot alike, from what I've seen. Just what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? Yeah, harmony to you all too, my man. Awesome. But what is it? What do you like? You like Threads? You like Blue Sky? They're kind of a lot alike. I like the concept of Blue Sky more, but I thought that I liked the vibe. They had Threads doesn't have a bad vibe either, though. Threads is okay. They're just both okay. I wish that they would. You can't really, for what I do, though. The one difference is, here is the one difference, and you'd never notice this unless you were using it for the reason I do, and I'll tell you why. The one thing that you can do with, oh no, bullshit, you can post a show to both. I do to both. There's another one that's almost just like them except for that factor, Lemon 8. Lemon 8 is just about exactly format-wise like those two. For fairly close. A little different, but Lemon 8, you cannot do anything like that. However, Lemon 8 will let you post a 1-minute video. Ooh, like you go live for 1 minute with them. Now, Threads and Blue Sky will not let you do that. Okay, and what the fuck, anyway, if they're not going to do it for 1 minute, why, period. But they will let you post some shit there. Lemon 8, if it's over 1 minute, forget it. You can't post something there if it's over a minute. See, what I don't get is all these things that I've talked about, or that I mentioned, every single one of them, and they're different with each of them, and some the same. They're 2 to 3 issues away from fixing, and they could be, well, as solid as one of these places could be, okay? Get rid of, for instance, if some of them would get rid of the character limit, or beef it way up like Facebook has it so high, you'll never, it's hard to ever get to it unless you're me. Rambling on. But get rid of your character limit, or hike that up. Allow people to go on for an hour or two live. Allow that. Okay, allow those two things. And why? And you know what? The only thing I could think of, I got to thinking analytical, like business mind again. Okay, is it a bandwidth thing? Is it a money thing? Because it's a bandwidth thing. Is that what it is? Okay. But in this day and age, fuck, man, really? That would be your excuse, though? I don't give a fuck if I owned a thing and they came to me and told me that. I'd say fix it anyway. I mean, okay, and those two things could be fixed. TikTok's pretty much, if TikTok would allow people to not have a time, you have to have 1,000 followers on there to be able to go live and stay on for as long as you want to, or for hours, right? Maybe knock that down to 100. 100's cool. Facebook makes you have on your pages to do that. If you have a page, you have to have 100 followers. YouTube, it's 50 subscribers to do it live. They'll let you post anything there. Of course, you can post anything to these. If you have a YouTube channel, that's why I encourage people to get them. You can tape it and post anything to your channel, but to go live, you have to have 50 subscribers. I know because 2 of the 5 channels I have are close. This one and the Orb one, and I wanted to make sure I got over the 50 in case I needed them, right? And on Facebook, I have 15 pages I use. One of them I need about 20 more, and I didn't realize even it because I never used the one Arcturian. The one Arcturian page, I've got 10,000, so that's not a problem. No followers and likes. The other one, the Arcturian Translucent Realm Color smaller realms, I've only had them for less than a year, but I've only got 80 followers, 78 or 80 followers, something like that. But I've never really tried to pump it too much, so I'm not worried about that if I need it. But yeah, you have to have that 100 followers to go live. And on a regular timeline, I have no idea. That regular timeline's a lot like a Facebook page. You know, they're kind of similar versus being like a group. So I don't know, and I don't know if a group has to have so many members. That I don't know. That I've never ran into because I've probably only done, out of the 1,000 hours on or more I've been on air over the years, I've probably only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, I've done way less than 10 Facebook lives ever, page, timeline, group, ever. And the first one I ever did was less than a year ago. In fact, it was less than 9 months ago. I think it was in the late summer, so not even that long. So I wouldn't know. I didn't even know this shit about you needed 100 followers, because the page that relates to this channel, it's not that old, and it had for the, you know, I was up to, I don't know, I was up at 91 when I heard that. I'm like, okay, well, I need to, you know, get, and then then the funny thing, I was stuck at 99 forever, and I could have had somebody else, you know, and I didn't want to do it. I wanted it to automatically just happen, and it finally did. But yeah, so I didn't know that till then recently. It's not as easy to promote a page as it used to be. It's not as easy. They don't show up as many places. It isn't like it used to be when you could get into, you know, you could get 1,000 fucking likes like it was nothing. But it's not quite like that no more. You know, it takes a little bit of hustle, a little bit of game. And that's the way it goes, you know. It's just like with monetizing on Facebook. I mean, I haven't monetized on here in years, but, you know, it used to be fools could monetize on here, and fuck, man, you'd make something. The only difference is, though, they still, I'll never get it, but they still do owe me $90. You know, they owe me $99. You can't, for one of the channels that I have, of which there's 5 of them. And the reason why I have 5 is because, I've said it a million times, is because that's how many I was given, and I eventually married them up with pages I had on Facebook. But they owe me $99, right? And it's been so long ago that it won't add on to what, you know, if I were to monetize that particular. And plus, it's just one of the smallest of the channels I have, and so I would have to start back over again on it to get on a monetization plan. But what I'm getting at is the reason why they never paid me the $99 is because on a channel, to get paid, you have to make that first $100. You have to make the first $100, or you're not getting jack. That's how the rules were then. I don't know about now. Hopefully it's been changed for people that are trying to make a living on here. Yeah, it used to be $100. You have to make, then, you know, they'd still cut. After that, it wouldn't be another 100, but it would be that on a per channel, you had to make that first $100 before you were getting anything from them. Yeah, $99, folks. Oh well. Yeah, it is what it is. All right, peace out. I've bored the whole world. You know, you ever heard that term? I shook up the world. I bored the whole fucking world. All right. Rockin' mocking. I'm out. If I can get out of here. This will be comical. Can I exit out of here? Let's see. There's the X. Yeah. Hold on. One more time. I bored the whole world.